There's some chance for you to practice in there. Now, we need to get our first finger strong enough to do some of the bar chords that are coming up here in a minute. So let's talk about strengthening up our first finger. Okay? Many people say that bar chords, they just don't do bar chords because bar chords are hard. Well, bar chords aren't hard. You are just weak, especially your first finger. Well, at least your first finger is weak. So we need to strengthen up that first finger a little bit before we get into bar chords. So let's go up to here to the 5th fret, okay? And let's put our first finger down, and we're going to cover 3 strings at a time. Just the bottom 3 strings, okay, with our first finger. Play those. I put it down. I've got to put a lot more pressure on this. We play all 3 of them together. Ready? Let's play. Now, it may buzz a little bit as your finger's getting used to strengthening up to play these bar chords, but that's okay. That's what we're trying to strengthen right now. It takes a while to do this. You may not be getting this the first time you do it. It takes a while to get your finger strengthened up enough to do what we need to do. So let's just go through a little exercise to help you. Make sure you have good hand position. Make sure that wrist is forward, not back like this, but forward, and your finger is straight. Finger straight on the frets. Okay? Make sure that first finger is dead straight, not angling in a little bit like this. Or I know you need pressure and you want to bring that wrist up for pressure. Leave that wrist down for that. Okay? Try not to buzz. Let's go over the 5th fret, cover 3 strings. Okay? Now let's take the whole picture down and let's go down to the 3rd fret. See if we can get those 3. Good. Let's jump down to maybe the 2nd fret. The closer I get to this nut down here, it gets a little bit harder. The easiest place to practice these bar chords is in the middle of the neck, right here at the 5th or the 7th fret. What about at the 1st fret? Can you get all those 3 to sound? Okay. Now let's do 4 strings. Okay. Let's go back up here to the 5th fret, and now we're going to do 4 strings. Okay. Try and get those to sound. Let's go up maybe to the 7th fret. Let's go up a little bit more. What about at the 9th fret here? Good. All right, now let's kick it up a notch. Let's go to 5 strings. Okay? Now, you don't want your finger necessarily straight on the instrument like this. You want it kind of angled a little bit. I mean, if you can kind of see where my finger, the notches in my finger for where the strings are really on this last quarter of my finger. So I'm not necessarily dead on. I'm kind of offset a little bit. Let's go over here to the 3rd fret and do the same thing. Remember, a good finger position, if I'm hugging up right behind the fret, that's the easiest place for me to get the notes to sound. Requires the least amount of pressure. Okay, if I'm back here, it's going to sound real buzzy. Okay, let's go down to the 1st fret. It's pretty tough down there. Okay, now let's go to all 6. Okay. Now it'll take a little practice to figure out where you actually need to push that first finger down at. It might help to actually overshoot. You don't want to be just right here. It helps to kind of overshoot it a little bit. I kind of overshoot it, I don't know, maybe a ½ an inch or so. See if you can get all 6 strings, each string to sound out. Give a good clear sound. Let's go down to the 3rd fret. And eventually down to the 1st fret. And if you can conquer putting all the pressure that you need to get that 1st fret, all 6 strings without buzzing, you got enough strength to do any bar chord that I'm going to be able to throw at you. Okay? So you may not be able to do this initially, so take a little bit of time each day, strengthen up that first finger. Don't give up after the first time you do it. It takes a little bit of time, over a couple of weeks maybe, to get that first finger strengthened up enough. Okay? You ready to learn some bar chords? Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, let's talk about 5 major chord forms that we're going to learn on that 6th string. Okay? Now, you'll notice as we put up the first one, the F chord, okay, that there's a couple of new concepts that you're going to see on that chord block that you haven't seen before yet. First one of them is a fret number. Okay? Everything up to this point we've done down here in the first position. But now you're going to start seeing